As we're saying here, you're certainly no stranger to Southern Nevada. You were 12 years the mayor of the second largest city in Nevada here, Henderson, and now a few months on the Board of County Commissioner, replacing your friend and former colleague, Mary Bescow. What's been the biggest transition so far, getting back into elected public life, Commissioner?
Well, the nature of the job is not all that different, but the volume of matters that come before us, the number of issues that are constantly fighting for number one priority, it is a different neighborhood. You know, I had the city of Henderson, which has some of the more mature residential neighborhoods in it. Our district has a lot in unincorporated Clark County that are very mature neighborhoods. The challenges are a little different, and learning those challenges, learning what we've been doing, working with the police department to try and understand their role in all of this has been new for me. But it's been exciting because the competency level of everyone, from the people who serve on the county commission to the staff to the Metropolitan Police Department people, to the people who dedicate their time to volunteer in the neighborhoods, the folks who serve on the town boards. You know, there are extremely talented, dedicated people, and that's very satisfying and comforting to somebody who's starting, who doesn't know all of this.
And of course, during your time in Henderson, you served on many of the regional boards, which are nothing new. The Regional Transportation Commission, of course, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, which is the same, you're shooting for the same goals. But then a lot of people might not realize you spent a number of years also with the Las Vegas Monorail Company. So you've obviously been very well versed on public transit, something we were dealing with when you left public office, and we still are now.
I think that that's probably kind of the overarching challenge that we have as we're more and more successful in Las Vegas in branding and inviting and hosting wonderful events and tourists and conventions. The challenges of traffic, just simple traffic and parking, only grow, and none of the solutions for the transit and the movement of people who live here or the tourists who come here is inexpensive. It's all very, very expensive stuff and challenging. And so we have wonderfully talented people who've been working on the solutions, but that doesn't mean that they're easy, and it doesn't mean that they're finished with that work. I think it's one of those things that as you grow, you just continue to work on it. And hopefully we can knock down some of the really important items that have been on the table for some time. There's discussion of light rail. There is a high-speed train that still wants to make its way from Southern California into the valley. There are, you know, we don't have a single unused gate at McCarran Airport, but there is room for development of more at the airport, and we're going to accommodate everything. We just have to work very hard to do it. And then you start thinking about kind of the retrofitting that we're doing in the valley. I mean, the stadium, in a sense, is a retrofit, right? It's not out on the edges and the suburbs, but it is in the heart of the resort corridor. The Convention Authority addition is going to be a really important piece. That convention center is large and has done its job for us, but there's more to be done. So when you think about all of that, maybe the takeaway is jobs. In an economy that is still recovering, there are some really important opportunities for many, many jobs, good paying jobs. And that's got to remain one of our highest priorities.
How is the stadium going to fit into that part of things as far as jobs go, Commissioner?
Well, I think that it's, you know, obviously it doesn't solve the problem all by itself. But the addition of the stadium and then all of the work that follows, all of the development that follows, all of the improvements that are required that will be more on the public side as opposed to the private side, all of that will bring an incredible number of jobs. But as I say, that alone isn't going to solve it. And that's a 31-month construction period. The convention center will add a whole bunch of other jobs, and presumably they'll both be running in parallel during part of that time. So, you know, that's a piece of it. But you get people back to work, then their retail expenditures increase, and so retailers hire people, and you know, home builders find people are more capable to move into a new home or to buy a used home, and so that means that a homeowner can sell his home and maybe move into something different. So it opens up so many things. It's like a house of cards. You know, you push the right one, you can get them all to fall, and this is an economy that needs all of those barriers to fall in order for it to really work and come back.
Let's talk a little bit about this place, Commissioner. Horseman's Park, I know you just took a tour here, 20 acres, some of the finest outdoor equestrian area, probably the best outdoor equestrian area here in Clark County, and it's even going to be improving. Talk a little bit about this place.
Well, this is a priority to us. It really becomes a part of the offering of attractions that bring in people from all around in surrounding states. The recreational activities here are remarkable. It's so fun to watch people who really know what they're doing in the area of horsemanship and the various elements of it. We have times when there are thousands of people here at this park, and it's a showpiece, and we need to make it look like a showpiece. Some of the things that we're going to be doing, covering the large arena, is a really important feature, because you can't bring people here in the middle of the summer at all. It's very difficult. It's hard on animals and humans. If you have a covered arena and you can keep some of the sun off of you, then that expands the period that you can use the arena. It also gives us some kind of a backup, so that if we have an event going on and the weather turns south on us, events can be moved not really indoors but into a covered facility, which provides additional security for animals and a more healthful environment and a comfortable environment for the people that are attending. This is a remarkable piece of ground, and the development here is something that I've known about for decades, and I've spent time here at events, but it needs to be improved. It needs to be taken to the next level, and I think the nearly $6 million we're going to spend out here is going to be a really important piece of the future of the facility.
Commissioner, parks is a huge issue, and some money has just been appropriated, about $12.1 million coming to your district, as you say, about a big chunk of it here. McCarran Market Soccer Field, Paradise Vista, Sunset Park renovations. Why is it important, or what are some of the renovations that are going to take place at some of those more mature parks?
Well, it's especially important. What we're doing here does meet the needs of locals who are interested in these facilities and horsemanship, things that happen here. The other facilities that we're going to improve are neighborhood or regional facilities that meet the needs in neighborhoods and the people who are our constituents and our neighbors. For instance, if you take the McCarran Marketplace soccer fields, those have been some of the most used soccer fields in the entire valley. And it's a synthetic surface, and it has been closed for a couple of years because we didn't have the money to go out and do the replacement like we would have liked to have done. We now have the funds. We're going to spend a couple $1 million nearly or about $1.5 million, I think, over there renovating that synthetic surface. And when we get that back in operation, you can go there at all times of day and night when that facility is open. It's full. There is a game being played. There are practices being had. It's an incredible facility, and that will respond to the people who live in this district. It needs to be up and available to them. The Cannon Middle School is another really important improvement. It's part of a partnership that we've had. All the jurisdictions have had one form or another of a partnership with the school districts, locating parks next door to schools and making playgrounds expanded into something more, and then programming those for use by the public after school hours. All of that's especially important, and those improvements will really be helpful. The basketball, tennis, and volleyball courts at Sunset Park are really in demand. We're going to be able to renovate them and make them, bring them up to what they ought to be. They'll be new. And we already get so much attention over there. There's so much activity. Imagine what it's going to be like once we're attracting people back to that park, which is the objective. It's to make a place for them, and it's to be able to bring them there so that they can get together and the kinds of activities, the recreational activities that appeal to individuals, talented individuals, families. It's all about meeting needs, and there's a broad spectrum of needs that have to be met. So the park facilities are really crucial to us. And Clark County now is in a position where we're going to be able to sell some bonds. We have the income streams that will allow us to service the debt on those bonds. And that's really exciting for everyone on the commission because there is such a backlog of work that needs to be done in that area.